Hi, it's Mr. Baumgarten here. Today we're going to be taking a look at breadboards because in every computer scientist's journey, at some point you are likely to be experimenting with electronics. And breadboards are a very useful way to do some electronic prototyping. So let's talk about the use case and then how they work. Consider, for example, I have this LED that I want to light up. Fairly straightforward, probably the first thing you're going to experiment with. I have a power supply coming in and I need to run my LED through a resistor so I don't burn it out. Now, how am I going to wire this up? If I didn't have a breadboard, I would need to figure out some kind of way of attaching my wire to one pin of the LED. Then I need the resistor to go through the other pin. And can I kind of squeeze them together? Can I hold both of them in place with my thumb? Perhaps. All right, and then get the other pin onto the other end of the LED and get it to light up. All right, but that's not a long-term viable solution. I need a way to be able to hold these wires together. Sure, I could try maybe experiment with some tape or some glue. All right, or if I'm really keen, I can get out the soldering iron. But how can I just kind of experiment and get this to work and get it to hold itself together? So the breadboard solves the problem of how do we join these wires together. How does it do this? We see here that there are a whole series of holes in the breadboard, and each hole is connected to other holes through wires that run underneath inside the backing plate of the breadboard. So the two ends where the colored strips run, all of these pins here running across the horizontal are connected to one another. So if I put a wire in one hole here and another wire in a hole here, those two wires become connected. And then likewise, if I put another wire in there, then that's also connected to those other two wires, and so on. And then the same along the blue stripe, right? Any wire in that row any two wires in that row would become connected to each other. The same applies across the top. The middle section is slightly different. These wires are connected together in the vertical, in the orientation that I have it at the moment, except they do not run across the center point. There is a split here. So these 5 holes are all connected. And then these 5 holes are connected, and these 5 are connected, and so on. And then down here, these are connected, these are connected, and these are connected. So we can use the breadboard as a way of joining wires together. That's all it is. So for example, if I take my power supply and put it into that hole there, I then take my LED, and if I put the positive pin of my LED, and if you haven't used an LED before, notice that the pins have different lengths. The long length goes for the positive cable, and the shorter one goes for to the negative. All right. So if I put the positive pin in that same row, and then the negative pin, I'm going to put 2 rows across. So I don't know how visible that is on the camera. Okay, so you can see here, the first row, I have the red wire and the LED connected. And then I've skipped 2 rows. I don't have to, I just have. And then in the 4th row, or column, I've got the other pin for the LED. So if I now put the resistor somewhere in that same row, and then I need to put the other end of the resistor somewhere in the breadboard, so just where it naturally fits is fine. Okay, so we can see here that these are connected in the same line. So now if I take my other end of the power supply and put it in the same alignment as the resistor, I complete my circuit. Right, the power is running through the red wire down that row, into the LED, into that row, into the resistor, back into the breadboard, through that row, and then out my negative wire. Now I don't have to align it like this. I can jump across this middle point if I want. I can do something silly like that. Now, just to confirm, right, if I put this black wire anywhere here, it doesn't do anything. Right? And you can see here that the resistor is in the second hole across, but if I put the red wire right next to it in that orientation, it doesn't do anything. I have to put it this way, like that. But then, like I said, these two rows across the side, they work differently. They work the other way around. So if I was to put my my black wire on the blue stripe, the other end of the resistor, if I put that anywhere on the blue stripe row, you can see that my LED turns on there. Oops, my LED turns on there. Right. And if I stretch it all the way, if I can get it to stretch that far. Okay, yeah, you saw it blink. Alright, all the way across. My wire can move anywhere in that row. Right. So that's how a breadboard works. It's just a convenient way of supplying, wiring up your different sensors together. Okay, this is Mr. Baumgarten signing out.